In a political environment seemingly constantly inundated by regressive legislation, it's odd that we find a bill that actually seems to be trying purely, genuinely to do what's best for a group of people. And we have a Bill of Rights law for a group that I can't believe that this actually passed, because I can't imagine it passing in most states in the country. So what I'm talking about is my home state of Connecticut recently passed a homeless person's Bill of Rights law. Now, when I saw this, I was struck by, wow, that actually made it through. Not because there is necessarily a strong anti-homeless person lobby. There's no organized corporate interest that I know of. But most people in the country, not big fans of the homeless, not big fans of panhandling and things like that. So we're going to cover the details of this homeless people's Bill of Rights, and then we're going to talk about whether or not this might spread to other states. So the bill has 7 different protections for the homeless. This is going to take a little bit of time, but we got to get through it. The first, move freely in public spaces, including on public sidewalks, in public parks, on public transportation, and in public buildings without harassment or intimidation from law enforcement officers in the same manner as other persons. Second, to have equal opportunities for employment. Number 3, receive emergency medical care. Number 4, register to vote, and to vote. I think that's a typo. Number 4, register to vote. Number 5, have personal information protected. Number 6, have a reasonable expectation of privacy in his or her personal property. And finally, the 7th protection in this bill, receive equal treatment by state and municipal agencies. So, as I said, this is a fairly progressive piece of legislation because it's all too easy to forget that the homeless exist, or to try to pretend at the very least that they exist. And look, there are some organizations around the country that are trying to do right by the homeless. I have a friend from graduate school, Jake McGuire, who's doing that work, and I think that it's extremely important. It's very hard to deal with the problem of homelessness because of the influence of mental health issues in this population. Some homeless who want to be homeless. It's not as common as you think. Don't allow that to completely color your view of the homeless, but it is an issue. And also the fact that the population at large does not like the homeless. They don't want to deal with them. They don't want to see them. They see them as, at best, an annoyance. And so to have a bill like this pass the Connecticut legislature, I think that's pretty surprising. Now, it has not yet been signed by the governor, Dan Malloy, but he is a Democrat. He has a pretty progressive track record in my experience of viewing Connecticut politics, and so it's likely that it will pass. Now, could this be a template for similar legislation across the country? That's an interesting question. Now, Rhode Island has already passed a similar homeless person's Bill of Rights. Didn't know that, so a little bit of political credit for Rhode Island there, being pretty progressive. Illinois is also has passed through the legislature, similar to Connecticut, a Bill of Rights like this. Now it's waiting for Governor Pat Quinn to sign it. Again, don't know if that's going to happen. He is a Democrat, bear that in mind. And Oregon and Delaware are also considering pieces of legislation like this. Now, I don't know if this will spread. I think there are a number of states that would never pass anything like this because, look, they're filled up with politicians and people that just love to hate. And it's very easy to hate the homeless. Usually most people's only interaction with them is coming up to your car, asking you for $1, things like that. It's easy to be annoyed by that. And I understand that. As a lib, I understand that. But these are people that have very harsh lives. It's extremely hard for them to get any kind of medical care, including mental health care, which many of them, because of their experience in war and their complete isolation from human contact, could probably use. Intimidation by the police, being beaten up and killed in many areas of the country by teenagers who see it as some kind of fun blood sport. There are a lot of problems for the homeless. And so, at the very least, for Connecticut, this seems like a good step forward. Interesting point of speculation. Let me know what you think. With this passing in Connecticut, what do you think the chances are that homeless in surrounding states will move into Connecticut? Maybe that's a little conspiracy theory, and I'm sure that was part of the debate over this. Let me know what you think.